Hi everyone, it's Danielle and Grace with Northlawn Flower Farm, and today we're going to be working on a mini makeover of our seed starting room. This room is where I start all my seeds for my cut flower gardens and also where I process all the flowers. So there's lots of washing pots and cells and all kinds of kind of dirt and debris come in and out of this room. What you're looking at right now is the original picture of this room when we purchased the house. Yes, it really did look that bad. And to be honest with you, we didn't do anything at all with this room the first year. We just shut the door and pretended like this addition and second bathroom to our house didn't exist. Every single room in our house basically needed a complete renovation. And I'm not just talking about it needed updated, but nothing was functional in the house. No heat, no water, the roofs were leaking, the sinks were leaking onto the floor, ruining the floors. It was really a bad situation. But for some reason, we just decided to dive in. We had always wanted to live in this area, and we thought, well, this is a place we can afford, and we are willing to take on this renovation. And so we've gradually just worked our way all the way through this house. And eventually we did kind of do a little bit of TLC to this addition, but I don't believe I ever painted the walls or the trim. So that's kind of the backstory of this room. And I feel a little bit bad that I never gave it the love and attention that it deserved, because it gives me so much in return. Like I said, I grow every single seedling in this room. Every single flower comes in here to be processed in that big sink. And I spent an incredible amount of time in this room. And why not make it look as nice as possible? I'm not going for anything extreme and definitely not expensive, but just clean, functional, and I want it to feel like it's part of our home. It definitely does not feel like that currently as we're working here. It really feels like a workspace, almost like a garage. But this room is directly off our kitchen, and it's an entrance that we use into the house often. So let's give it the TLC that it deserves. So the first thing I did was just clean the walls really good, and then I went around and painted all the trim. I gave all the trim and all the doors 2 new coats of paint. And then I went in with this beautiful gray color. I'll put the colors in the description section below. I got them from Ace Hardware. There's Grace. She decided she wanted to help me paint, but she has no clue how to use a paintbrush. But back to work over here. This gray color, I wasn't sure if it was going to be too dark, but I think it ended up being really, really beautiful. I decided to just cut in all the paint by hand. There's a lot of trim work in this room, and I am really terrible when it comes to using that painter's tape. Whenever I use it, I seem to get a really bad bleeding underneath the painter's tape. I'm not sure if I'm not applying it properly or what, but I just take my time and cut it in by hand. Now the fun begins, and we can really start to see the transformation of this room when we start to roll on some more of this gray paint. Do you think this was a good color choice? I really love it. So it took about 2 days to finish this project from start to finish. I also removed all of the outlet covers, replaced them with new outlet covers. And if you can see that plug-in right there on the right-hand side of your screen, that was covered by a painting just because it looks so terrible. So I decided to fix that outlet, change it out, and you'll see at the end of the video, we're going to leave it exposed so that we can actually use that outlet for our heat mats when necessary. Now we're removing this strange board that had been nailed into the brick. I was never sure why this board was here, but once I pulled it off, I realized that they were trying to disguise a hole in the wall where the brick meets the sheetrock. So my husband did patch that up for me because you could literally look to the outside. This whole time, 8 years we've been here, there's been a big hole in our wall covered up just by a piece of 2x4. But moving right along, it's about 2 days later now. all the paint has dried and we're ready to get this room back together. I love putting a room back together. It's really satisfying. I'm currently only running 4 lights for my cool flowers. Eventually I'll put 2 more lights up, but I'm purposefully keeping my seed starting rack low this year. So for the first time ever, I can actually see out this window to the driveway garden. And I knew I wanted some shelving above the sink. I wanted to make sure I picked something where you could still see and use the outlet, but it wouldn't look so strange to just have this outlet staring right at you when you walked in the door. So I ended up picking up this shelf at Kirkland's, and it had a little ding on it. So I asked the wonderful cashier if she might give me a discount, and she gave me 25% off. Wasn't that so nice of her? So I'm just putting up some of my favorite vessels now and a little bit of soap because that's necessary. I'm always washing things in this sink. And then I'm just bringing in a large crate that we had at our previous home that I've always loved. And of course, every room needs an amaryllis in bloom. And we're also bringing in some other pieces from our old home. This is an old baker's rack, which I used to have in our old kitchen. And I'll hang back up my grandma's Master Gardener certificate and mine right below her. And you know, I have this thing, I love books so much, I love gardening books, and they're just scattered all throughout the house. So I'm trying to condense my book collection and keep them only in this room and only in my office. We'll see how well that works. Probably not so well. And here we have 2 more of my favorite vessels with my grandma's pin frogs at the bottom. I love pin frogs, especially older ones. I don't think I could arrange flowers without pin frogs at this point in life. And I thought, why not add a few rugs to the room too? Once again, just to try to make it feel homey, but not spend a lot of money. The only things I purchased for this renovation was the paint, the new outlets, the shelf that you see above the sink, which I did get 25% off, and the rugs. So it was really a very affordable renovation, but now it feels nice and clean in this room. Everything that I need to start seeds is right here in this room. So many things were either located in the basement or the garage or under different sinks in our house or piled up somewhere outside. Now I can really have a nice clean space to work in that's functional, practical for my needs, and at the end of the day, it really wasn't too expensive to do this renovation. It just took a little bit of time, a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of elbow grease, and I think the result is just perfect. It looks like it belongs in our home, it's a part of our home, and I'm so excited to just get in here with you this year and start lots of beautiful plants from seed. So far, I've started 3 flats of snapdragons and 1 flat of Sweet William, and I started that flat of Sweet William because I want to do a comparison. I have a fall planting of Sweet William that overwintered okay. We went down to 4 degrees Fahrenheit this year, and I'm going to plant them side by side. Half the raised bed is going to show you that fall planted Sweet William, and then we're going to do a spring planting of Sweet William, and we can compare the results, one right next to each other. I thought that would be really fun and something I've always wanted to do. Well, friends, I want to wish you an absolutely wonderful day. Let me know if you're getting around to any home projects as we wait for the weather to warm up and the sun to return to our lives once again. I'll see you guys sometime real soon. And of course, as always, happy gardening. Bye.